We're waking up to plenty of sunshine this wonderful Sunday morning. It's not going to be as nice as we step into tomorrow, that first alert weather day. Wintry weather returns tomorrow. Good morning, I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley. We are tracking the return of snow, ice, rain, and obviously we're going to be tracking that all the way through the rest of this week. The good news about this is that most of it is just going to be rain, especially once we get through Monday morning. But I have some new info for you guys about how much snow to expect, where to expect the most snow, and even a glaze of ice. This is not necessarily an ice storm. This isn't a snowstorm. This is not a winter storm. It will be enough, though, to definitely slow things down out there on the roads for tomorrow. And then we're tracking the return of 60-degree high temperatures as soon as Tuesday afternoon. And yes, storms. Spring storms. It's March 1st, first day of meteorological spring. Newport cam is down. We're having a great day. Regardless, the Newport cam is sleeping in this morning. It's 36 in Cincinnati, mostly sunny skies. A light breeze, though, noticeable breeze, but still light from the northeast, is making it feel like the mid to upper 20s. Here's what's on our radar for your week ahead. Of course, we've got the wintry start to tomorrow. We got the daily storm chances. The plus side to all of this, at least we're going to be warm for the afternoons, starting Tuesday, lasting all the way through the rest of that 10-day forecast. So even through your weekend, next weekend, we're expecting warmer than average temperatures and some dry time. Eventually, dry time will come into the mix. Today is that dry time. It's just not necessarily going to be warm. Middle 30s, that's where we are right now. We had a front moving through the tri-state, so we've already seen temperatures drop just a little bit. We were in the low 40s down in Owenton, now have dropped into the upper 30s. Very dry air is in place, so what that means and what you need to know about that is that it's going to feel a lot better in the sun rather than in the shade. Regardless of where you are, it is winter. It feels like it. Temperatures this afternoon climbing into the middle 40s, but the wind chill still in the teens in some spots this morning, others in the 20s. We're going to be watching out for wind chill values this afternoon in the 30s. It could be colder, but it could be warmer. Highs today are going to be in the middle 40s. Just a hair below normal here in Cincinnati. Depending on how much sun that you do see, you could see highs near or closer to 50. Here in Cincinnati, kind of that middle ground, 45. We'll see some sunny skies turn partly cloudy towards the afternoon ahead of tomorrow's first alert weather day. So for those evening plans, just plan for cold temps, low 40s or 5 o'clock. By 8 or back in the middle 30s, we'll drop below freezing overnight, and eventually the snow is going to start to fall. It'll start mainly as snow, but as temperatures climb, because they will, throughout Monday morning, we'll start to see that transition from snow to freezing rain and sleet, and eventually to all rain. However, before any of that transition happens, it's all temperature dependent, and we could see upwards of 3 inches of snow possible. That's isolated higher totals. I think most of us will see less than 2 inches, but minor accumulations, I'll show you here in a second. Not everyone's going to see the heavy snow. A glaze of ice also part of the equation here, and that's because we're seeing a good window of opportunity for that freezing rain, for that sleet, in which both of those would create that glaze of ice. Regardless of what you see and continue to see throughout the late morning, hazardous travel would lead to a slow commute and icy surfaces. So if you're walking to work, walking to school, anything that's untreated will be slick tomorrow, especially where we do see those higher snowfall totals. Now, as we work into the afternoon tomorrow, temperatures are going to be above freezing. They're not going to be dramatically above freezing. So highs near 40. We're going to hang on to a little bit of that snow, especially where we do have that 2 inches plus for tomorrow. But then as we see the overnight into Tuesday, I mean, notice we're not concerned about a refreeze at all. That's the good news here. This is mainly going to just impact your Monday morning commute and maybe a little of Monday afternoon, but conditions only continue to improve through Tuesday, and then we get messy again, just in the form of some storms. Now, scattered. Want to kind of unpack what that means a little bit, because scattered means there's gonna be storms throughout the morning, the afternoon, and the evening, more than likely, just not everywhere all at once. It's gonna be a little bit here, a little bit in Cincy, a little bit in northern Kentucky. You're gonna have dry time each and every day this week. It's just I forecast for the whole tri-state, and so when I say scattered storms, I mean scattered across the tri-state, not necessarily in your backyard. But more than likely, each and every person, I don't want to say that, most areas are going to see storms each and every day following Monday. And that's because highs are going to be in the low 60s, middle 60s, eventually the low 70s here. As far as when to expect the heaviest rain pulling on through, by the end of the week, 2 to 4 inches of rain, not out of the question. And I think this is less about one day providing most of the rain and more the rain really spread pretty evenly. Because you'll see here on your weather timeline, there's no one day in which there's this line of thunderstorms coming on through. It's quite literally starting Tuesday and lasting all the way through Friday morning. Scattered showers, a rumble of thunder. The good news about this is that even though there's decent coverage and you're likely to see storms each and every day this week, it does keep this strong to severe threat pretty limited right now. I'll let you know if that changes. I'm seeing the opportunity for maybe something stronger late Saturday afternoon, but that's just because we're finally seeing a front pass on through. Several days between now and then to get through, and several active days to get through too. So just something to keep an eye on. But I mean, look, starting tomorrow, lasting all the way through the week, more than 50% chance that you're going to see some rain throughout the day. How much of it depends on where you are. All right. Before I start talking about this, let's see some questions. April's tuning in. Do you anticipate school delays for tomorrow? I would not be surprised if we got school delays for tomorrow. And delays are more likely than closings, I think. It really depends, of course. I'm not a school superintendent. But we saw this last week. Untreated roads, if folks aren't really prepared for even just a little bit of snow, it can cause those delays and widespread delays too. And Jen's tuning on in. Will we have any oh gosh, I'm sorry, I can't read. Oh, you answer. Thank you. I hear we could see more severe weather this year. Yeah, so we're entering spring season. We always want to talk about the potential for some strong to severe weather, and that's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. I'm glad I already kind of talked about it. Not seeing any big concerns for strong to severe storms during the work week, but with that front passing on through this upcoming weekend, there is the opportunity for something strong to severe. During this time of year, there's always the opportunity for something strong to severe, but it's just something to keep an eye on, and we'll have a better idea of how it behaves the closer that we get. So, buckle up. I'm going to show a lot to you guys on the weather timeline. I'm going to do my best to explain. Great day today. It's just cold. Temperatures in the middle 40s this afternoon. And then we're going to roll overnight into your Monday. We're going to wake up. Some of us will see rain before we see snow. That's northern Kentucky, and it depends on those temperatures. Here in Cincinnati, more than likely going to see the start as snow. Those north of Cincinnati, likely to see this start as snow. Now notice it starts pretty light. We might have dry enough air in place to where most of what you see here isn't making it to the ground. So I'm saying that around 4 to 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow is really when the snow is going to start to accumulate. As that's happening here in Cincinnati, we got the deeper blues coming into play. That band, this band that you see here, that is what's going to be the heaviest snow that I'm seeing for tomorrow. You'll see it reflected in the snowfall totals. So pay attention to that and the timing of this. Not great timing. In fact, probably the worst timing, around 6, 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning. And the worst part of the tri-state to have it in, arguably, because it's right in the middle of downtown and west and east along 275. Anyways, a little bit of freezing rain is going to start to come into the mix close to about 7 to 8 o'clock. Notice that glaze of ice, or the freezing rain, the pink that you see there. It is likely to stretch as far north as the Ohio River. Not everyone's going to get the glaze of ice. Here in Cincinnati, we're kind of on the cusp. Maybe you'll get a little if you're in Covington. Maybe you won't see anything if you are in Avondale or something like that. And then as we see the late morning, not only are these shower chances starting to come to an end. Notice we're finally starting to see some dry time for those north in Cincinnati right around lunchtime. The freezing rain and the sleet and a little bit of snow still seen south of Cincinnati. And we're going to hang on to some light rain chances in the afternoon. But you could argue this is mainly going to be a morning event for most of us, especially if you're north of the city. But then we roll into the afternoon and we got some additional showers, maybe a rumble of, no rumbles of thunder here. I'm getting my days mixed up. Scattered rain possible south of the Ohio River tomorrow afternoon. The rest of us entering into a pretty active week. Let's start with Tuesday. Rain, storms, temperatures near 60 that afternoon. Again, I'm gonna kind of speed run through this a little bit because I think hopefully you guys get the point in which scattered storms are likely each and every day from beginning to end. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, mainly the morning. It's mainly gonna be rain, no storms. But with the opportunity for storms from beginning to end, even the overnights, it keeps the severe storm threat incredibly low. That's the good news here. However, it's very nuisance rain because who wants to be walking outside in the rain? The plus side of all of this is that it is all rain and you don't have to worry about the snow or the bitter cold temperatures for the second half of the week. Now, Friday morning, looking rainy. Friday afternoon, not looking rainy anymore. That's the good news. And then here's that front that I'm watching for Saturday afternoon into your evening. Maybe a strong thunderstorm, not out of the question, just something you want to keep an eye on. Let's talk snowfall totals. Remember that band that I showed you, the deeper blues, right along Cincinnati? 1 to 2 inches of snow look likely where we get that snow band, if you will. It's going to be a wet snow with temperature. We have a good amount of mixing trying to come into the mix, especially by about 7 to 8 o'clock with that freezing rain, and so pretty wet snow. We're going to be watching out for some minor accumulations, 1 to 2 inches. Not everyone's going to see it. In fact, most of us, especially south of the Ohio River, going to stick to less than an inch, and north of 275, less than an inch as well, but enough to slow things down. So this is the rain through the end of the week. I'm going to show you what the ice looks like here in a second. I thought I had it queued up. But by March 7th, so that is this upcoming Saturday, the light blue to the purple, that's the potential to see anywhere between 2 to 4 inches of rain. That does include melted snow, if you will, for tomorrow, but flooding concerns are going to be a thing as we head into this upcoming weekend. And that's just because we don't really have a lot of time, if any time, to see any of this rain evaporate. So expect some flooding concerns the later we get into your work week, especially Friday morning, even the afternoon, but also Saturday too. Okay, let me find that ice. I thought I had it queued up. Okay. Again, the ice really, it's not a concern for everybody, but those of us that do see it will see icy conditions like slick sidewalks. There's that glaze of ice. Slick sidewalks, maybe some slick roads as well, but a glaze of ice, it's not going to lead into any huge concerns. I'm not concerned about power outages. I'm not concerned about tree branches falling, but a glaze of ice will just contribute to the concern of slick surfaces, slow travel, dangerous commute. You guys kind of get the point. But the good news about the rest of the week, while it is active, while it is stormy, it's at least warm. So the impact for Monday morning, is pretty short-lived. It's just going to be quite messy for a little bit of time, and then we warm up. I mean, look, these temps go right above normal as soon as Tuesday afternoon, and they stay that way all the way through the rest of this 10-day forecast. Despite that front coming on through on late Saturday evening, I mean, we only see temperatures dip into the middle 60s 1 week from today. So we're still, in some cases, going to be 20 degrees above normal here in that first alert extended forecast. So middle 40s today, not as warm as yesterday, but not as cold as tomorrow. You have plenty of sun. We'll see clouds build into your evening, and eventually the snow will start to fall. That'll happen around 4 to 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Freezing rain will start around 7 to 8, and then everything will start to come to a close, at least for us here in Cincy, by your early afternoon. Light rain will continue for those in northern Kentucky for Monday afternoon into the evening. And then we start those daily widespread scattered storm chances Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're going to integrate some dry time in between those storm chances so it's not widespread rain all the time. That's good news. It does open up the door to these warmer temps. 60 for Tuesday, 65 for Wednesday, and 68 for Thursday. I'm not worried about a refreeze. These temperatures overnight are going to be well above freezing. Don't need to be worried about that. Mainly morning showers there for Friday, which means the afternoon is looking drier and warmer. 72, your forecast high. And then depending on that front, Saturday is looking dry up until the afternoon, and therefore it'll be a warm day. Sets up the stage for maybe a strong storm or two in the late afternoon. And then we still hang on to those nice mild conditions all the way through the rest of that 10-day forecast. Okay. Any questions coming on in? No other questions coming on in. It is now 10:31. We'll have the latest information for you guys about snow for tomorrow, rain to follow, storm threat this weekend. We'll wrap it up, put a nice bow on it later on tonight with meteorologist Andy Duvall right here, Fox 19 Now Plus. Tonight at 6. But for now, signing off here in Queensgate, I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley, and have a great rest of your Sunday. Happy March and happy meteorological spring.